Hello, guys. Good afternoon. How are you today? Are you good? Yes. Super welcome, everybody. Today is February 23rd. It's Wednesday, and this is Wide Angle 3. This is our 3:30 class, and we are doing Unit 2 of Wide Angle 3. Okay, so everybody, welcome. Let's discover some mysteries today. All right. So, our class today, as you can see here on our page in Google Classroom, talks about uncovering the past. So, last class, we discussed a little bit about phrases with time, simple past, past continuous, and today we are going to talk about the past, but in a mysterious way. We are going to talk about mysterious discoveries. That's really nice. It's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, I think so too. So, if you have your books, open your books to page 21. Let's go there. Yes, here we are. So, uncovering the past. It's very nice when we discover things that nobody else had ever done before, or when we learn, when we study about these discoveries. They are from archaeology, um, they are from history. So, a lot of students, a lot of scientists, a lot of archaeologists were involved in these discoveries. So, let's take a look at some of them. I will zoom in here so you have an idea. Okay, are you following? Yes? So if you have your books, please, it's page 21. Okay, just checking again so we make sure everybody is on the same page. Okay, so the first activity says write the name of each discovery under the correct photograph. So we have some discoveries here, as you can see. Look at that. How amazing. We have one, two, let's see, number three, and discovery number four. They are very famous, okay? And I'm quite sure you have seen them before, okay? So, do you know the name of the first one? That's very easy. Yes, very good. The Terracotta Warriors. Excellent. Great. We will see more about them in a while. Okay. Number two. Oh, that one everybody knows. Which one is that? Yes, Stonehenge. Great. Quite interesting as well. What about number three? What's the name of that one? Incredible, isn't it? Okay, if you said the Nazca lines, you're right. Nazca lines, okay. And the last one, as we can see here, the Göbekli Tepe, okay? So we will see something about them in a while, okay? So the second activity wants us to identify, okay, exactly where in the world these discoveries are. Do you know? Where are they? If we want to visit these places, where should we go? Take a look here. Where can I find these interesting statues? And there are so many. Look, and they are very similar, right, one to another, although they have their own characteristics. There are differences, but there are so many. It's interesting, right? What about Stonehenge? Where is this monument? So here we are going to see match each country with a discovery from exercise number 1. Okay, so let's see. The first one, we have the countries on the left and the discoveries on the right. Okay, so let's do the matching. So England, where do you think, what do you think we can find in England? Which discovery is in England? Hi, Kawani. Good afternoon. Welcome. Good to see you. So we are doing page 21. Okay, Kawani. We are talking about mysterious discoveries. Okay? And this is what we are discussing. We are discussing these discoveries here. Okay? Number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. All right? Now we are doing number 2. So where can we find these discoveries? Where are they? So the first one, we have the countries here on the left, and we have the discoveries on the right. So which one here is in England? Do you know? If you said letter D, yes, you're right, Stonehenge. Very good, excellent. Okay, that's okay, no problem. Very good, excellent. Okay, so let's see the next one. Hi, William. Good afternoon. Welcome. So let's see, guys. Which discovery from page 21 is in China? Do you have any idea? Here we have the Nazca Lines, the Terracotta Warriors, the Göbekli Tepe. Which one do you think is in China? So take a look here one more time. And if you just arrived, this is page 21, okay? All right, take a good look here. So that's easy, right? So in China, we find the Terracotta Warriors. Aha, that's in China, right? And Peru. Which discovery is in Peru? What do you think? Now we have only discovery 3 and 4. Which one here is in Peru? All right, if you said the Nazca lines, yes, you're right. And finally, in Turkey, the Gobeli town. So let's check the answers to see if we are correct, okay? Let's check it out. Yay, everything right. Perfect. So they are very curious, very peculiar, and extremely mysterious because we don't know who made them. We don't know how they made them. And more interesting, we don't know exactly the meaning. We guess. We guess the meaning. We try to understand the message, but we don't really know. That's why they are mysterious, okay? Especially this one here, the first one. So I'm going to show you a short video about the first discovery, the terracotta warriors. Take a look at this. It's very interesting. Let me see if my audio is okay. So you can, yes, now I think it's fine. All right, I will just mute my microphone so you don't get any echo, okay? So take a look.
It's a vast pottery army which is slowly being unearthed from the tomb where it's lain for more than 2,000 years. At one time, when a Chinese ruler died...
I work in this site for many years, for decades. Yeah. So these warriors are all life-sized, like real soldiers. Also, they have different facial features. You can tell from their hairstyle, their we call head gears, and they can tell their different ranks. The terracotta warriors was found accidentally. One day, a group of farmers digging well here, and they find some pieces of the pottery. They also find the head of the terracotta warriors, and the team, archaeological team, came to this area and they start to dig. Originally in ancient China, like 3,000 years ago, they believed the afterlife. When the elites died, like king or noble people, they died, and they normally buried their servants with them, so the human sacrifice, and people start criticize the human sacrifice. So they think probably use the terracotta figures as a substitute. When we discovered in pit 3, very surprisingly we find well-preserved colors. When we lift one terracotta warrior, terracotta bodies, so the very bright colors stick on the soil, very bright, red and pink, blue, green. The other colors are natural, like natural, probably mineral, or come from some plants. But the purple is chemical from chemical reaction, so that kind of artificial. So these kind of chemical reaction, so only find in China. That's really revolutionary, that kind of technology in 2,000 years ago in Qin time. That was really fascinating part of my archaeological career. I feel I'm lucky. Also, I feel I have a responsibility. That's unique in China and also unique in the world. Even now I walk in, I still feel very impressed.
Very interesting, wasn't it, people? Yes, that was amazing. How they could create those statues like 3,000 years ago and in color, because originally they were all colored and they had bright colors. So imagine, it's amazing, isn't it, people? So let's take a look here. In number 3, they ask us to make some notes on anything we know about these discoveries. I don't think we know a lot, but we know something. We know now about the terracotta warriors, that they were made because they believed in the afterlife, and when they buried their noble people, their kings, they thought they would need those warriors to protect them in the afterlife. So that was the reason, according to archaeologists, for them to build or to make these statues at the time, right? So that's quite interesting, and I feel really grateful for being able to see even pictures of that discovery. Imagine going there personally and seeing those statues up close. Wow, that would be incredible. Okay, guys. So, what do you know about Stonehenge? Here we have in number 2, Stonehenge. So, what do we know about it? Yes, people usually say it was meant to be a temple. So it was something religious, at the same time mystical. And I wonder how they were able to put these stones, these rocks, in such a way to create a circle and to be in connection with the sunrise and the sunset. And they also put another stone here. So if we zoom in, you will see closer that the rocks are actually very big. They are not small, they are huge. So if you go there to visit, you will see that in this area, there are no rocks available for them to create this. So we understand that these rocks were transported. They were brought from another place believed to be very distant from this site. So we ask questions like, how did they bring those rocks all the way here? And how did they place them like this, one next to the other, almost geometrically, and then forming this circle? And also, on top of everything, how did they manage to place a rock on top of three others? That's really incredible and curious. Okay, what kind of machine did they use? Or another question, were the people who built that temple or that altar regular people like us, or were they giants? That's another thing to consider, because some people believe a long time ago there were giants here on our planet. So maybe giants built this temple for their adoration. Maybe. So we just wonder. We don't have enough clues to really find out the mystery. Okay? So this one is also another big one. Look, you have a lot of vertical rocks in the middle of what seems to be an amphitheater. So what's this? It's really curious. Okay, guys, so many questions. Many questions. That's amazing. So let's go to number 4. Which discovery is most mysterious to you, and why? So it's difficult, right? It's hard to tell. Let me turn on the lights just a moment. So what do you think? Some people say the Nazca lights are the most mysterious, because how could regular human beings create those lines in such an area where you have basically plantation and with such precision as to resemble a boat? So what do you think? What do you think? Which one is more mysterious in your opinion?
It's difficult. I don't know. All of them are.
Yeah.
I don't know. All of them are amazing, but the Nazca lines, it's. I don't know.
Yeah, incredible.
Very, very curious.
Very
How they did that?
Yeah. It's really amazing, because this is huge. This is not
Yeah.
something small. This is really big. It's like more than a kilometer. So I think it's really big. Imagine. So I don't think a regular human being could create that.
Picture. Kawane wrote in the chat.
Sorry?
Kawane wrote in the chat. The chat.
Yeah, Kamani said something. She said she prefers
Yes,
Stonehenge. Yeah, the
Yeah.
Stonehenge. It's the most curious. Okay. Yeah, I agree. I think the Stonehenge Stonehenge is also very curious. It's difficult to pick only one. I
It's
would
like a
say,
temple.
yeah,
I don't know.
possible, right? I think all of them are very curious. But yeah, Stonehenge is extremely curious and very mysterious because these rocks here, they are unique in this area. Only here. There is nothing like this around. Nothing. So how could they put those rocks there in the first place? They're heavy. They're really big. So, and how can they stand upright like this until today without falling? That's even more amazing, isn't it? How could they stand the test of time and stand upwards like this until today, after so many years, and not collapse, right? So it's incredible, really. All right, so let's move on to the next page. Let's take a look here, page 22. Here, on this page, they bring us some considerations in relation to grammar, to language. When we talk about the past, we can talk about something that is isolated in the past, an action that happened and finished in the past, or we can talk about actions that were repeated many times in the past, but they don't happen now in the present. They only happened in the past. They were habits, or they were routine, somebody's routine, something that was repeated over time, but nowadays, not anymore. So we use a structure that we call used to. Okay, so this is the structure we use. So let's take a look at the box here. We use used to talk about regular actions that we did in the past, but we don't do now. Okay? We form positive sentences with used to plus infinitive. So it's simple to use, okay? In ancient Egypt, people used to write in hieroglyphs, okay? So it was incredible because in Egypt, they used some kind of drawings. It was difficult. Nowadays, it's difficult to understand those hieroglyphs, sorry. It's very hard to understand those things because they are like drawings. They don't resemble our alphabet because they don't have letters like we do, okay? So it's difficult to understand their language. So that's what they used to do in the past. Now, not anymore, okay? We form negative sentences with didn't plus used to, now it's different, plus infinitive, okay? Example, we didn't use to understand hieroglyphs, okay? Hieroglyphs. We didn't use to understand those because it's difficult, really. So in the past, nobody used to understand that language. We form questions with did plus subject plus used to plus infinitive. So here we have an example. Did the Egyptians used to speak all three languages? Because there seemed to have three languages in the old times in Egypt. One, the hieroglyphs. The second, Greek. And the third, another language called Domas, I think. Okay? So we are going to see about it when we study about the discovery of the Rosetta Stone. Okay? We're going to see that. So let's take a look at activity number 5. Look at this. Here we are going to see the use of the structure used to. All right? Let me just highlight here, okay? Because this is what we need to use to complete the exercise. So let's do the first one together. People be able to touch the Stonehenge stones. Now they can't. So which one is the best option? Yes, very good. People used to be able. So some time ago, it was possible to touch the stones, right? If you visited the Stonehenge temple, you could touch. Now you can't, right? So, number 2, the emperor be buried with terracotta warriors in China. Yes, used to. Okay? The emperor used to be buried with terracotta warriors. Now, I'll give you some time to do activities 3, 4, and 5. And then we correct. Now it's easy, okay? Now you know how to do it. So go ahead. I'll give you 1 minute to do that. Okay, there you go. Go back to jump. Go back. Okay. 14 seconds. Come on. You done? All right. Time's up. Let's check the answers. Let's see. So number 3. What do you have? The Nazca lines. Yes, very good. Used to be well preserved, okay? You need to have the particle to. Number 4, people. All right, used to live on Easter Island. No one knows what happened to them. And number 5.
Used to?
Yes. Now, but pay attention, it's a question. So if it's a question, we need to change the verb, okay? So look at this, it's a little tricky. Here, I'm using the verb in the past because they are statements, okay? So people used to be able, the emperor used to be buried, the Nazca lines used to be well preserved. They are all statements. People used to live on Easter Island. But now in number 5, we have a question. So I need to use the auxiliary verb did. And then what happens to the verb? We have to change the verb. So it goes back to base form. Okay? So what did people use to do at Göbekli Tepe? All right? It's a mystery. You got it. Okay? So let's check the answers. Okay, everything all right. Okay, good. So let's take a look now at number 6. And then we are going to see a little bit more about the Incan Empire. So complete the complete the sentences with the correct form of used to and the verbs in the box. So it's easy. We know when it's a statement, I have to use the verb in the past. Okay? So here. And then I use the verb in the base form. Used to be, used to build again, used to rate, and write. Use and write. Now, when the sentence is negative or if it's a question, then I have to change the verb, okay? So let's take a look here at the text and try to do the first one together, okay? Look, the Incan Empire is famous for its impressive architecture. They complex cities that worked well with the surrounding land. So it's a statement. What is the best verb to use here? Okay. Excellent. Used to build. Very good. All right. So they used to build complex cities that worked well with the surrounding land. So that was, something they liked to do a lot. Okay. They used to build complex cities. Now, I would like you to do numbers 2, 3, 4, and 5. So read the rest of the paragraph and complete with used to and a verb, okay? And then we correct together. So I'll give you 1 more minute to do that, okay? Let's do it. 1 minute, go ahead. Okay, thumbs up. Let's see the answers. Quite interesting, isn't it? Yeah, that's really interesting. So, number 2, what did you put there?
Be. Used to be.
Ah, okay, very good. Excellent. Used to be. Perfect. So there used to be 140 buildings there. You see how many? And people think the city is in the shape of a bird. One of the mysteries of Machu Picchu is how the Incans built the city. We know the Incans negative. Remember, in the simple past, to make the negative, we need to use the auxiliary verb didn't. Yes or no? Okay, so here we have to say, we know the Incans didn't, and then only the base form of the verb. So didn't use to, and then the verb, okay? So we know the Incans didn't use to use the will, okay?
Didn't use to use.
Yeah.
Oh.
Why? Why is that? Because they are using the verb use, okay? Just because of that. So it's a coincidence, okay? It's just a coincidence. So they didn't use to use, okay, the will. But did you know they negative again? Didn't use to write. Very good. Didn't use to write either. Okay? So how? Now it's a question. Look. Okay? So when it's a question, we have to use the auxiliary verb did. Okay? So question, how did they
Used to build.
how did they use to build? Very good. Such complex cities without writing. Okay? So how did they use to build? Okay? So you just have to use the verb in the past when it's a statement. Then we say used to. Now, for questions and negatives, we have to use the auxiliary. Didn't for negative and did for questions. And in this case, in both cases, we have to use the base form of the verb. Use to. Okay? Great. Let's check the answers. There you go. All right. Okay, great. So how interesting this historical paragraph about the Incans, right? They were so intelligent, weren't they? Now, skim the article. What links the Rosetta Stone and the hieroglyphs? The hieroglyphs. What is the link between the Rosetta Stone and the hieroglyphics? What do you think?
I don't know. Rosetta Stone.
Here we have an article. Look, can you see that? This is a picture of what they call the Rosetta Stone. Have you ever heard of this? Is it familiar to you? Do you know anything about the Rosetta Stone? Why is it so famous?
I don't remember.
It's just a piece of rock, right? But why is it so special? Any idea? No?
The hieroglyphs. Nossa,
The
olha aí.
hieroglyphs.
Hieroglyphics. Hieroglyphics.
Yeah, it's difficult to say that word. It's hieroglyphics.
Yes.
Yes, the hieroglyphics.
Hieroglyphics.
That are printed on the stone. Yes, but are they only the excellent, Kawane. Kawane said that the stone helps people understand the hieroglyphs. Because, guys, the hieroglyphics, why? Because it's really difficult to understand this language. Look at the picture. Look. How can we understand such a language? There are so many drawings. Look, a lot of drawings here. And it's difficult to make out a message behind these little pictures. Okay? So, thank to the Rosetta Stone, we are able today to understand this very complex language because there is something special on the stone that helps people understand all these codes here. So let me show you a short video about the Rosetta Stone, okay? So you understand what it is and why it is so special, okay? Let's take a look there. I will just mute my microphone so you don't have an echo in your audio, okay?
English from bbclearningenglish.com.
Hello, this is 6 Minute English from BBC Learning English. I'm Rob.
And I'm Sam.
In this programme, we'll be unlocking the secrets of the ancient Egyptians, pyramid builders and the inventors of hieroglyphs, a writing system which uses pictures and symbols to represent words.
The meaning of Egyptian hieroglyphs remained a mystery until 1799, when Napoleon's soldiers unearthed a dark, damaged rock in the Egyptian coastal town of Rosetta.
On the broken granite stone, 3 scripts were faintly carved, Greek at the bottom, Demotic in the middle, and hieroglyphs at the top. Today, the Rosetta Stone is perhaps the most famous museum object in the world. But what's actually written on it is quite dull. In fact, the Rosetta Stone contains a tax break. It describes an agreement exempting priests from paying taxes to the king.
Ah, the famous Egyptian pharaohs.
Exactly. But which one, Sam? Let's test your ancient Egyptian knowledge with this quiz question. The writing on the Rosetta Stone is a tax agreement between the priests and which Egyptian pharaoh? Is it A. Cleopatra, B. Ptolemy, or C. Ramesses?
I'll guess A, Cleopatra.
OK, Sam, I'll reveal the answer to that mystery later on. Before the discovery of the stone, no scholar had been able to understand the strange symbols carved on the Great Pyramids.
Egyptologist Richard Parker was in charge of the Rosetta Stone exhibition at the British Museum for 20 years. Here he is telling BBC Radio 4 programme In Our Time about circumstances before the discovery of the stone.
People were exploring all sorts of means of trying to decipher, including trying to link the script with Chinese to see if that offered a parallel. It was known from the classical authors that the Egyptian script contained great mysterious pearls of wisdom from the Egyptian philosophers, and people had hugely high expectations, and all attempts to decipher, to get a grip on the script, I think had really failed.
Before the discovery of the Rosetta Stone, no one had managed to decipher hieroglyphs, to work out the meaning of writing, which is difficult to read.
Experts hoped that the Egyptian script contained great pearls of wisdom, wise words, sayings, or advice.
As we know, the actual meaning of the text turned out to be quite dull, but it was the fact that the messages were written in 3 scripts, including Greek, a language scholars already knew, that provided the key to finally crack the code.
In 1801, the race was on between Egyptologists in Britain and France to be the first to translate the entire system of hieroglyphs.
In the end, it was a young Frenchman named Jean-François Champollion who became the first person to understand hieroglyphs since the ancient Egyptians themselves, nearly 2,000 years earlier.
Here's Penelope Wilson, Professor of Egyptian Archaeology at Durham University, explaining more about this remarkable young Frenchman to BBC Radio 4's In Our Time.
He was certainly a prodigy, I think, as far as language is concerned, but also had a fascination for Egypt, I think. And the story is he was taught Coptic by a Coptic priest, and at that lecture was one of the first to argue that Coptic was related to ancient Egyptian. So he was also encouraged by this by his older brother. So I think there seemed to be no holding him back. Once he got the bug, he was encouraged and he made great strides.
When Penelope Wilson calls Champollion a prodigy, she means someone young with a great natural talent for something, in this case, studying languages.
Added to his natural ability was a fascination with Egypt and the encouragement of his brother. So Champollion soon got the bug, suddenly developed a strong enthusiasm for something.
In English, we often add a noun to describe exactly what someone is enthusiastic about. So, for example, the skiing bug for someone who loves to ski.
Champollion was so enthusiastic, there was no holding him back. An idiom to say that you are doing something so eagerly, you cannot be stopped.
The story goes that he worked so hard deciphering hieroglyphs, when he finally finished, he ran through the streets of Paris shouting, "I've done it!" before collapsing unconscious.
Rob, earlier you asked me which pharaoh ordered the stone to be written.
Yes, and what did you say?
I thought it was Cleopatra. Was I right?
Well, Cleopatra was from the same dynasty, but a little later than the correct answer, which was B, Ptolemy, the pharaoh who ruled from around 300 BCE.
Okay, let's recap the vocabulary we've learned, starting with hieroglyphs, symbols used to represent words in ancient Egypt.
The challenge was to decipher them, to uncover the meaning of writing, which is difficult to read or understand.
Maybe they contained pearls of wisdom, wise words, sayings, or advice.
The hieroglyphic code was finally cracked by Jean-François Champollion, a prodigy or young person with a great natural talent.
When Champollion got the bug, or suddenly became very enthusiastic about understanding hieroglyphs, there was no holding him back. Nothing could stop him from succeeding.
And nothing can stop us from saying goodbye, because our 6 minutes are up.
Goodbye.
6 Minute English from the BBC.
All right. So, could you understand what they said on this radio show? Most of it. Okay, that's good. Yes. So does it confirm your information that says that the Rosetta Stone helps us understand hieroglyphs? Yes, it certainly does, right? So let's take a look at our book again on page 22 and see a little bit about the stone, a little bit more, right? By reading the text, okay? So here is the task we have in number 7, page 22. Skim the article. To skim is to read superficially, okay, guys? To give like a quick look. So skim the article. What links the Rosetta Stone and the hieroglyphics? So what is the connection between the Rosetta Stone and the hieroglyphics? So let's take a look. Let's read this together, okay? Let me see how big it is. So not so big. So we can do that in 2 minutes. I think this will be okay. So let me put 2 minutes here for us. Okay, let's begin. Okay. Have you finished? Yes. Okay, so let's see the question one more time, okay? Let's go there. What links the Rosetta Stone and the hieroglyphics? Can you tell us? Yes. So exactly, the Rosetta Stone is like a translator to the symbols that until then nobody understood. But after they found the Rosetta Stone, they could see that it was the same text written in 3 different languages. First, in hieroglyphics. second in Egyptian, and third in Greek. The same text. And this guy here, Jean-François Champollion, in 1822, he made this important discovery that we call a breakthrough, because he found out the similarities between or among the texts. And for that reason, we are now able to understand the hieroglyphs, because we can compare the same way as he did here on the Rosetta Stone, what seemed to be only one text. Yes, very good. What seems to be only one text ended up being three texts, but with different languages, right? So it helped people understand the symbols, because he would compare the Greek version to the Egyptian version, because he also knew Egyptian, and then he was able to understand the hieroglyphics. So much better now, right? It's so good when we can understand a language, right? The only disappointment was the message, right? Because they were hoping the message on the stone would be of something religious, or a piece of advice, something inspiring. And no, it wasn't. The message on the stone is just an agreement. Yes, between the priests at the time and the king, the emperor, right? Which happens to be Ptolemy. So it was an agreement that they didn't have to pay taxes to the king, I think, right? Only that. So it's like a document. There is no poetry, there is no special message. Okay, guys? So it was only an agreement, but it helped a lot of people to understand, finally, those complex symbols that we know as hieroglyphics. All right. So now, guys, let's move on to the next page and see what else we have there. Okay, let's take a look. Let me just reload the page here. Just a second. Okay, people. All right, so let's go to, yeah, we should actually finish that page. I guess we missed the last part here, number 8. Okay, so let's take a look there. Sorry, guys. Okay, so here, let's go to number 8. Read the article again and answer the questions. Now, we are going to read the article to get more details. Okay, so it's a different reading. We are going to read with more attention to details, okay? Because we need to answer these questions. So what did the ancient Egyptians use for paper at the time? What else did the Egyptians use to write on? What is the Rosetta Stone? Who found it? When did they find it? Where did they find it? Who translated it? And why is it an important discovery? Okay? So let's take a look one more time at the text to find the answers. Is it visible for you? Is it okay for you? Can you maximize it if you don't have the book? Yes? Okay. So let's take another look, but this time with more attention to details. Okay? So grading. Okay, guys, so you see how different the second reading is from the first. The second reading, we usually highlight the most important information, or we underline the information we want to remember, okay? So the second reading is more profound. We pay more attention, okay? So let's take a look at the questions again, because now I think we have the answers, okay? So let's see. What did the ancient Egyptians use for paper? They used papyrus. Yes. So papyrus was a kind of wood from a tree. They would get those things from trees, and they would dry, okay, and write on those platforms. Now we call them paper, but at the time, papyrus, okay? All right. Now, Second question. What else did the Egyptians use to write on? Did they write on anything else or only papyrus? They used to write on walls and also stones. Yeah, very good. So they used to write on walls and stones, okay? Like they wanted to print their knowledge, their messages somewhere. What is the Rosetta Stone? Here they explain it's a strange rock they found in Egypt with some writings on it. Sorry, with some writings on it, and it had 3 different languages written on it. So it was something really mysterious. Okay. So the Rosetta Stone was this rock here with a lot of things written on it, but that only few people could understand. They were in 3 different old languages, right? But fortunately, this guy here, Jean-François Champollion, was able to translate. Okay. Now, who found the Rosetta Stone? The French soldiers who were exploring El Rashid, Egypt. Okay, a small town also called Rosetta. So these guys, these soldiers, they were exploring this area in 1799. Okay, okay, a long time ago. So we answered question 5 and question 6. Now, who translated it? A French guy called Jean-François Champollion in 1822. Okay, all right. Very good. Why is it an important discovery? So let's go back there again. It's important because thanks to the stone, the world has the key to 3,000 years of Egyptian history. So this is the answer, okay? Because of the stone, we can now understand the symbols that we know as hieroglyphics. They're so complicated, right? So it unlocked the mysteries of ancient Egypt. So nowadays, people who know the language, they can understand the messages, right? They can understand everything they wanted to say thousands and thousands of years ago, okay? That's the importance. All right, people, so our time is up, but we finished this page. So I'm happy we were able to finish this page 22, which is very interesting. Next class, we will do page 23, okay? Let me take you I will take you to our page on Google Classroom so I can show you the homework for next class. And then I can also talk to you about next class, okay? So let me share this with you. As you can see, guys, look, we were supposed to do until page 23, but that's okay. We haven't done, no problem. The topic today was uncovering the past, and this is what we talked about. We talked about mysterious discoveries like the Nazca lines, the Stonehenge, the terracotta warriors in China. Okay, and also the Rosetta Stone, okay? And we also saw regular actions in the past. And we saw that we used to talk about these regular actions, okay? We also studied about the Rosetta Stone. So next class, we only need to see time expressions, okay? I will update our Google Classroom. So people, for homework, I'd like you to do online practice unit 2.3 and the worksheets, okay? The worksheets are right here, okay? Here, we also have some files containing the topic we saw today, okay? So it's very important if you have a chance to see and check out these files. They are really interesting. Hey, guys. People, next week is Carnival. So although we don't have, we won't have the Carnival parade that we usually do. We won't have this year, but we will have the holiday. So next week, we will not have classes on Monday, but we will have class on Wednesday, okay? Because Wednesday is after lunch. So after lunch on Wednesday is not a holiday anymore. So the course will be opened and we have regular class. Okay, guys, so Ash Wednesday has regular class. Don't forget. And just to remind you, to replace your classes for the month of February. Okay, guys? Don't forget to replace the classes for this month, because this month is over on Monday. This Monday. So try to do all the replacements you need until Friday. It's the best way. If you leave it for Monday, you can miss out on something, or you can just leave it behind. So replace your classes until Friday this week, okay? Post the pictures on Google Classroom, for God's sake, okay? So people, thank you very much for coming. Thank you, Kawani, thank you, William, and thank you everybody else who is watching the video. And I will be waiting for your replacements. Okay, guys, don't forget. Have a nice weekend. See you on Wednesday. Okay? Bye-bye, guys. See you.
Okay,
Do your homework. Bye.
bye-bye.
Bye-bye. See you. Bye, Kawaninha. Bye-bye.